Why, hello. Um, let's get that on. Yeah, hello. How is everybody doing? How's things? How's life, users? How's your week been? Let me turn this down a tiny bit because apparently I'm too loud. How's everybody doing? I am a lot less ill than I was last week. Still a little bit ill, just a little bit, but less ill. That's good. And also, as I was chatting about on Discord, but it was COVID. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, hello, John. How you doing? How's things? How am I? Better than last week, but that's not saying much. um, I'm now 27 and a week. So yeah, no, fine. Yeah, yeah. Fine. Yeah. There's probably still going to be some amount of like muting the microphone and coughing, so my apologies there. Um, Best I can do. Uh, Hello, Simon S.A. Sushi Tech. How you doing? And hello, Kevin. You fighting a cold too? Mine's going in 2 weeks. It was COVID actually. I bought some COVID tests and it was COVID. Um, yes, I first started having symptoms annoyingly on my birthday. Last week on Wednesday. And so I guess it's been going on for about a week. I'm pretty much done. I've still got a little bit of a cough and a little bit of a blocked nose, but otherwise a lot better than I was on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So yeah, better. So after a while using a high refresh rate, ultra wide, even though I can't push all those pixels, I thought the difference is really not that big. Maybe 75 hertz was really so much better than 60. So the funny thing with refresh rates is that because they are hertz, as in times per second, so in this case frames per second, essentially. Um, the closer you get to 1,000, the closer it gets to 1 millisecond. But the closer it gets, the further away you get, the bigger a difference you have. So from 60 to 75, I can't be bothered to do the math in my head. So it's 13.3 milliseconds versus 16.7. So there's a what, three and a half millisecond difference there. Whereas going from say 120 to 140 is what, like 1 millisecond? 2 milliseconds? Uh 8.3 versus 6.9, so like 1 and a bit milliseconds. 1.5. So the difference gets dramatically, shorter. So if you're going from 75 to 165 should be pretty noticeable. Because you're going from 13 to 6.7, 6 flat. So you're halving your frame time, and you're halving the latency essentially. Actually, you're probably, well, yeah. Um, so yeah. Uh, Anyway, yeah. Glad you're better. Thanks. I've installed Portal Revolution. Can push those pixels, and tried limiting FPS with RTSS to 40, 60, 75, 100, 120, and 144. What I would say is especially since I've been doing a lot of testing with this, my open source latency testing tool, and the laptop that's currently on the floor behind me. FPS makes a pretty big difference to the latency, which for a lot of games, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, like in Portal, whichever one, if your Portal launches a quarter millisecond, or 2 or 10 milliseconds faster, because it's not really a reaction time thing. Although there are certain tricks that you might want to do in Portal that need to be closer to being frame perfect, as it were. But for more competitive games, or even just generally for a better playing experience, the lower the latency, the better an experience you will have. Even subconsciously, is what I'm trying to say. Kevin, I thought mine was COVID and it wasn't. Glad you're feeling better. Any smell us? Well, I haven't really had an unblocked nose since, so I'm not sure. But as far as I'm aware, no. My wife had a loss of taste for a day, which is kind of interesting. She seems to have got that back now, which is all grand. So yeah, fine mostly. I didn't test it, but I'm pretty sure it was COVID. I had to. Yeah. Hello Simon, how you doing? How's things? Maybe not the proper way to test, but now any relatively fast movement below 100 looks jarring and stuttery, with even 100 looking a bit jerky compared to 140. All those frame rates over the VR are on, as they say. For us so far, it might not be a major diff going from 75 to 120 plus, but going back is horrible. Yes! The difficulty is normally not like, you might not notice it going, but you notice it when you come back. Hello Mike. Are the ORS-RTT kits available at the moment? Could do with one pretty quickly. So I have a couple. Actually, yes. My hesitation is that I have two actually built, like, could ship them tomorrow in theory, units, and then I've literally at like 1 a.m. I guess this morning, I soldered the 3 microcontroller boards that I need to build the last 3 of the current batch that I have. So I have a couple ready to ship, but I have orders that I need to ship already. But I have units that I can put in, test and validate, and then be on their way. So the short answer is yes. And if you order one, say now, I will do my best to get it collected tomorrow. Yeah, which should be with you on Saturday, maybe Monday, depending on if you're not in. So yeah. Hello, Commander Classfun. How you doing? How's things? Hope you had a good Christmas and New Year's. It's been a while. Simon S63, the illness is gone now. Good. But now I have some financial issues. Isn't life just grand? Yeah. I wish you all the best with that. I hope that it's only temporary. This is where you make the she never had taste joke. Somewhat ironically, she really does like bland food. So, sort of. Was contemplating buying a 4070 to replace my 2017 non-S, and pair it with my 700k, but the cheapest around here is 825 euros. Yeah, no, that's a lot. I take it like eBay isn't an option for like a 3080, 3090 for that kind of money. You're in the Schengen area, aren't you? So it wouldn't be too difficult for you to buy it from German eBay, for example, and have it shipped. Hello, Joe. How you doing, man? Nice things. How am I doing? I'm better. Not fixed. I've still got a bit of a sniffly nose, still a bit of a throaty cough. So, I have been muting the microphone to save your ears. But yeah, better. Speaking of 100 meters, did you see the U4025QW announced at CES? I didn't, but that's either a Dell or a Philips model number because it's stupid as fuck. I'm gonna guess that it's Dell. Yeah. 40-inch 5K LCD with, I assume, 120 hertz. Interesting. 600 nit peak. That's a confusing spec. Who's the panel from? Like, because I'm pretty sure that what you call it? LG were the only ones who were making the 5K panels. List it? Doesn't list. Yeah. Interesting. I'm not sure who that's for. Because if you have what I assume is somewhere between £1,000 and £2,000 for that monitor, why would you get an IPS panel? Sure, it's 5K, although it's ultra wide, so it's 5120 by 2160, which is the same as 4K. It's just a bit wider. I thought that the 5K ones were actually 60x9 but wider. Am I wrong? I've never used the 5K display, so I'm probably wrong. But yeah. Mike, I'm afraid I don't. Being a sole trader, I don't have any discounts to offer, I'm afraid. In fact, even Steve from Gamers Nexus, well, I was much in the same way with Linus. Well, I sent Linus a Pro and a standard one. I offered Steve a latency tool, and he said, "No, we'll just buy it from you. Like, we'll pay for it. It's fine. We'll buy it later, like this week." I was like, "Cool." So yeah, unfortunately not. It doesn't hurt to ask. No, that's fine. Yeah, I'm afraid not. I'm liking. Oh, hello Ish. Hello Harry. Hello Luca. Did I miss anyone else? If I missed anyone else, I'm sorry and hello. Oh, could maybe get it from Germany from Computer Universe for 710 euros ish with delivery, but worried about warranty and stuff. In theory, that should be fine. Yeah, might be difficult. Valiant Thor at work, random channel surfing, having lunch and saving the world. Godspeed, soldier. Hello, Chris. How you doing, man? How's things? Chris has been driving a Mazda CX-30 today. It's my courtesy car. Not a massive fan of it. Too much tech. The thing with, I mean, I'm always wearing my at the wheel hoodie. The thing with the the more modern cars I drive, the more frustrated I get. Because I'm someone who likes to have control over the stuff that I own. It's bad enough with cars where you need like VCDS or you know, like a dealership level diagnostic tool to be able to do often somewhat simple repairs, like to change the rear brake pads on my car. You can't just take the handbrake off and the caliper retracts. You need to go into the dealership tool and then put it into the inspection mode, which retracts the caliper a little bit further so that you can actually fit the new pads in. Or you have to take them off and then like hot wire it and run it backwards, whatever. That's incredibly frustrating, but having a car like the Hyundai Ioniq 5 or Hyundai Ioniq 5 that I reviewed last year, that was horrifying because it tried to crash me into traffic on a country road. Like the whole lane assistant thing, like wanted to drive me, like it steered the steering wheel into oncoming traffic because it couldn't detect the lines on the side of the road and had a fit. That's not okay. So yeah. Watching from Los Alamos National Laboratory, Isotope Production Facility. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, first of all, I can't speak. But welcome, yeah. As you're obviously new, this is just a random tech chat. If you've got any tech questions or car questions, because I reviewed both, feel free to ask away or just hang out and chat. Feel free. Where am I at? I'm liking the ASUS 1440p 360Hz OLED I'm testing at the moment. It's quite nice. I bet. Is that the 27-inch or 32-inch? I can't remember. I want to say that was the 27, but memory is vague. Mike, thank you very much. I will endeavor get one of the units down there out to you. I'll book shipping for it tonight, and you can go pick it up tomorrow. I'll make sure to validate and test it as always. I had a bit of a problem, as I mentioned a few times, with this is the open source response time tool Pro, and this little chip, specifically the footprint on the PCB, made it so that it couldn't control these resistors effectively, and these resistors are what control the gain for the light sensor on the bottom. So yeah, I've made a successful batch of I have 5 left, and a couple of orders to ship. Well, I suppose 3 orders to ship now. So yeah, that's why I'm moving to a new design, which is this one. I don't know if I had these in last week. So yeah, this is the new design. It's exactly the same hardware. It's the same photodiodes. It's the same microcontroller. It's the same op amp. There's no sort of specs changes. The only thing that's really changed is that I'm now using a more analog solution to control these SMD resistors instead of through-hole ones, and it makes it easier for manufacturing. There's also USB-C, which is kind of nice, but these aren't actually ready to ship yet. This is one of the sort of pre-production ones. I've got the cases, the new shells, which are slightly larger. Also, I've changed the design a bit. The display hole is a bit bigger compared to that size. Yeah. So I've changed the design a little bit for more reliability, basically. And also because these little microcontroller boards, these Adafruit boards, I basically can't buy them anymore. So I've taken the chip that's there, the SAMD51, and I've put it on my own board. And now, it's all one board. And it's actually available. Oh yeah. Video keeps randomly stopping, quite annoying. Mine does too, I thought it was the internet. So here's the thing. I was trying to watch a live stream from the Trackmania streamer Virtual. earlier today, actually. Um, Unwatchable on YouTube. um, so I think it's a YouTube problem. It could be the whole ad blocker thing. But yeah, I don't know. Might be ad block then. Who knows? Worth trying. I did my first AliExpress order yesterday. Fair. I needed 2 replacement rear number plate lights for my car. Dealer and eBay wanted around £50 for the pair. I got OEM ones from Ali for £20. Yeah, fair. I have had a couple of orders from AliExpress. None that have gone wrong or anything. I have ordered a few times from AliExpress specifically because the sort of stuff that you find on eBay, like so for the latency tools, I include microphones. In fact, I include microphones in the kits. Like when you buy a latency tool from me, I throw a microphone in because it's just easier for me to include a microphone that I know works with it. It's the right pin out. It's the TRS instead of TRRS. It just makes it easier for you to like use the thing. Oh shit! I just realized I need to send some microphones to Apple. Just gonna make a note of that because I forgot for the last month. Whoop. But so I was buying those on eBay, right? And the problem was that I was basically paying twice the price on eBay for the exact same thing that I could buy on AliExpress, but twice the price. So I bought them on AliExpress instead. Yeah, I've done that a couple of times. Now, there's a couple of things that I bought like personally that in the UK would be like 100, 200 pounds, and it was like 30 quid on AliExpress. So yeah. Send mics to Apple. I'll just a reminder for an hour from now. Okay, good. I might remember. Andy really left Apple on red. Oh no, I told them I'd send them it. And then I forgot. Shit. Okay, and now I had a stream stutter lag buffer. Amazing. I use PayPal for such like that. Oh yeah, so do I. I also use my credit card if I'm buying for work, like stuff. Order the new car finally. Sent you the model and color to your Discord. The extra was 5k up front, 16-month waiting list. The Kodiak had stopped taking orders, so it had to be this one. Well, now I'm gonna have to open Discord. It's the Dacia. It's the Jogger. Not to be confused with the Dacia Dogger, which is a very similar car. I'm a juvenile. I do have U-Block Origin though. Same. Had that issue on browser too. App works fine. Interestingly. AliExpress takes up to 6 weeks to get down under. That's one issue I have. Fair, yeah. The stuff that I've bought has been here in a week. I think 2 might be the highest I've had. Admittedly, I've only ordered like 5 things. But yeah. AliExpress. Oh no, I read that one. But do you have your card tied to PayPal? I do that, but my card is disabled through my banking app and unblocked only for a minute when I need to use it. I do, yeah. It's not blocked. I don't think that's a feature I have at my bank. I think I can like bin the card, and have them send me a new one, but I can't like block all payments and stuff. But it's the top spec one, so all good. Is that the one with the laptop battery under the seat for hybrid? I suppose that was the Suzuki, wasn't it? No, that was the Dacia. Yeah, no, that was the like 1 point something kilowatt hour. AliExpress is weird for me. Weird with delivery for me. 2 weeks minimum, 3 to 4 often, but sometimes it can be 6 to 8. Rarely, fortunately. Fair. I've definitely been lucky. Delivery says about 2 weeks. Yeah, you might find that it's faster. All of the stuff that I've had has been like 12-day delivery, so 2 weeks, and then it's come in like 4 days. So yeah. Also, AliExpress doesn't accept PayPal. Just remember that's the problem. I'm sure only card detail theft was through AliExpress. Does it not support PayPal? I thought I wouldn't. I don't think I would have bought if I couldn't pay through PayPal. Yeah, I use PayPal. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I was going mad for a second there. Yeah. Luca was having network issues. Need to replace one of the flat Ethernet cables. They got Cat 8 now. Yeah, but why though? Like, I have a lot of Cat 5e or Cat 6 or Cat 6a. I don't have any Cat 7. Oh, actually, no, I have a Cat 7 flat cable, which I'm pretty sure is not Cat 7. But yeah, I have a flat Cat 7 cable, because it needs to go under floorboards, and I don't want it. The round cables I was using were disintegrating, so yeah. That's why I use virtual one-time cards through Revolut. Doesn't support for me. Interesting. I wonder if that's a location thing then, because it supports PayPal for, well, the UK at least. 40 gigabit Ethernet for Cat 8. Wow. I mean, 10 gig's fine for me. Anything higher than 10 gig and I'll just like get fiber. I'll run some fibers. I'll buy the tool that lets me terminate fiber. I don't really use it for buying stuff on interest-free credit. Is basically giving you inflation money in the future. Yeah, so right, this is finance, so feel free to stop listening for a bit. The idea of financing stuff that you can afford, but have the option to finance. So, for example, the whole PayPal credit, like pay a third, like pay 3 months, whatever. In theory, is fine. So the main concept, right, is basically if the money that you would spend on this asset, normally it's like a car or a house. Let's say you're buying a car. You have the money to buy it, right? But if you finance it at a relatively low interest rate, which isn't really an option right now, you can, in theory, make more money by investing the money that you would have spent paying for the car to offset the fact that you're borrowing money to pay for the car. It also means that you're not in a leveraged position, so you can just straight pay for the thing if you need to, so that you then no longer have like that ongoing bill of the car note or whatever. The problem for me is when you scale it down, the whole point of like doing that sort of scheme, as it were, to delay payment is so that you can make use of that money elsewhere, and have that money earn you money, basically, or gain interest on it. But for like a 50 quid purchase over 3 months, you're not going to make any money on that 50 quid. I'd rather just pay for it outright and not have 100 different like ongoing bills for stuff that I should have just bought. I use PayPal credit because I don't have the cash. Well, so that's a different thing. That's bad. I'll regret it later. Yeah, pretty much. My general goal in life has been to not buy stuff I can't afford, and I appreciate that is a luxury position that not everyone can achieve. But there are also people like Chris. But the Isle of Wight festival. Oh dear. Yeah, but you need to be left with something on the side. For example, 4070 Super is basically more or around the average monthly income. Yeah, I think what average monthly income in the UK is a bit over $1,000. I think well, the median wage is 30 something thousand. The mean wage is about 21,000, I think. And so that works out to about, call it 1,500 a month. So a 4080, maybe a cheap 4090 is about monthly wage, average mean monthly wage in the UK. So a bit different. Finance topic. Yeah, money does work, but unless you use a lot / large sums, and it's not worth the brain space to worry about something I bought 3 years ago, ensuring I have the cash on. Yeah, that's the thing, is that like, so take for example the wheels and tires that I bought. That was like £1,300 or something, which I'm mentally justifying as it's a multi-year sort of benefit, and they will retain value such that if I wanted to sell them at some point, I could recoup a decent amount of that value. But anyway, that's a pretty hefty amount of money, right? And technically speaking, if I had bought the wheels and tires on ideally a collected finance pack, because I bought the wheels from one place and tires from another, so it was 2 separate purchases, whatever. But that would be a what you call it, a reasonable thing for me to hypothetically finance, because even at like 6% interest, whatever, in theory I could make that 6% interest in a fund or something, and therefore be making more than the interest, whatever. Realistically, it in the current market, it's just not worth it. And then on top of that, I did actually pay for it on my credit card, so I technically haven't actually paid for it yet. But it has what you call it, it would just take up brain space that I really don't need to to be dealing with. So yeah, I'd rather just pay for it outright. Even with my car, I bought it outright because I'd rather have uh, the sort of full ownership of it. If I was buying a brand new car, I just wouldn't buy a brand new car. But if I was, yeah, that might be. It's a more significant sum. Um, I've been there, done that with credit. I'm a lot better now. I borrow brackets credit card, but it gets paid back as quick as possible, usually within a month. Yep, I'm the same. I have two credit cards, personal and business, and that while I do use them a reasonable amount to build credit score, it just insta pays back. Yeah. Did buy the M27 though, all in one go. Plus, it's a lot of gear, around 10,000 euros. Yeah, fair. That's a worthwhile purchase though. Also, goods that might cost £1,000 today might be £1,060 in a year, etc., etc. But you get £1,000 year zero and saved 180 over 3 years by literally just having the money on hand. Yeah. And someone says the average wage in Australia is 84,000 Australian dollars per year, so 48 super is about 2 weeks' wages. Fair. That's higher than here. Although I think the cost of living is higher in Australia as well, so yeah. Finance is 800 euro, GPU buys 10k bike all at once. Smart decision. Joe says credit isn't something I'd even look at nowadays. Currently going through bankruptcy thanks to my lovely ex-wife and running me into lots of debt. In a strange way, it's made me more sensible with money. Kind of funny that, eh? I hope all is resolved well on that front. And yeah, best of luck. Modifications come with a great cost. I've had to change my tires and alloys because of the big brakes. Fair. I'm quite happy that my brakes fit just fine. They are stock brakes essentially. It's just the 4 pots. The smart play would be bank car auction for a 2 to 5 year old great car. The problem is that it's all corrupt here and those cars are reserved. Ah, I see. That is unfortunate. I should use move there if it wasn't for all the venomous things. That and their immigration laws. I'm fine with not having credit. Apparently in 6 years I can effectively start again, but I'll be honest, I'm a little hesitant too. I don't know where I'll be in 6 years' time. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, for me, the only reason that I have credit, like I care about credit score, is there is no way in hell I'm ever going to be able to afford to buy a house outright. There's a good chance I might not be able to afford to buy a house, just full stop. But it come on, brain. So I need to be able to get a mortgage, therefore higher credit score, better rate I can get on the mortgage, basically. I have business credit cards, but no personal credit cards. I pay for what I can afford. So I have business and credit cards, but like I said, I only buy what I can afford. So I I'm the same, but I have a personal credit card to build credit score. Ba, ba, ba. Did I miss anything? We've moved into finance. I just had the whole front of my car resprayed. That's money I won't get back, says Luca. I bet you that was expensive. My rent is £350 a month. Really lucky in that sense. Mine's double that. But yeah, that's also still pretty low for the area that I'm in. If I were to find another house to rent in the UK, it would be £1,000. Rent in the UK is more expensive than a mortgage. Yes, it is. Almost always. But despite that, can't afford to put the can't afford the monthly on the same size of house. Yeah. And I could buy it for around 40k. Yeah, I think when I moved in, this house is probably worth about 80k. Ridiculously, despite the fact that it's falling apart, it's probably worth 150 now. That is great. My credit score is somehow in the 900s. God, that system really rewards you being a victim. I've never paid interest, which is probably why my credit score isn't in the 900s, 800s. I mean, it's still pretty good, but. Our rent for a 4-bed 1900s townhouse here is 450 a month. The landlord pays 112 pounds on the mortgage. And does he do 336 pound 38 pounds worth of services each month? I'm pretty convinced that well, I'm aware that my landlord has over 120 properties personally, and then his wife has another 100. Yeah. Mate's mortgage is 7k per month. The average price in Melbourne is a million for a basic house. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's called You've Got a Home, So Lump It service. Yeah. Credit card doesn't charge me interest on purchases for 18 months. Interesting. I'm pretty sure that mine would charge me interest if I don't pay within the first month. I would buy this house, but there are structural issues that the council will not fix. Mine has some structural issues too. When we moved out of our apartment into a house, the rent coming in from our old apartment paid us twice the mortgage in the house. Jesus. Free lunch, eh? I've got to make monthly payments, but only £25 minimum. Okay, fair enough. I get an email occasionally if I've made a big purchase or whatever, saying like, oh, you're getting real close to your credit limit, and then it just immediately pays itself off 2 days later. I keep asking for credit limit increases, one, because it's just useful to be able to have like 10 grand in an instant, and two, because it's helps increase your credit score, but they keep saying no. We live on a hugely overpopulated tiny floating island, and people get confused why our houses don't fare structurally with damp issues, etc. Yeah. The family trust mortgage payment is over 15k a month on 16 properties, and that's after paying them off over 20 years, but do redraw them from them. It's tax-free money for us. Fair enough. Hefty. Oh dear. Like the cloud, it's someone else's computers. Rent. Just paying someone else's mortgage. My house near an old pits as well. Amazing. Honestly, though, where I am, almost every 2 to 3 streets have a for sale sign. I wish I had large credit. I've catalogs much higher now, but the credit card companies refuse. Not sure I understand, but fair. There aren't that many properties, certainly in the price range that I'm looking at for, because the prices are just insane. Grimsby is built on 85% marshlands, 11 the West Marsh Borough, etc., and we suffer terribly with damp and subsiding issues across the town. Sounds about right. Sounds a bit grim. Nice. It is that. See, I can both understand Molda's lack of ventilation and insufficient heating, and also be cheap enough not to run the heating system to completely remove the problem. Well, yes, but also, like, in my specific case, I have damp in my bedroom. It's because the roof's leaking. The landlord has sent some roofers round once, and raised the rent twice since. Like when they build houses in the floodplains. Exactly. Clever. There. Anyway, do we have any tech to talk about? I feel like we've been quite distracted this week. I'm sure it was my fault, but there you go. The video that I guess will be out tomorrow, I think, is the a new keyboard from Endgame Gear, which it's back upstairs. Is quite cool. It's a 65% board with Hall effect switches. They're Gateron Hall effect switches specifically, and it's promising. So there's a few bugs in the software, and firmware, and I also found out where they got it from. I opened it up because I wanted to find out how the Hall effect sensors worked, if they were digital or analog, just because I'm I was inquisitive, and so I was looking at what the chips on the back were. There's only 3 chips. One of them is, I think, an op amp. One of them is a standard microcontroller that does the USB interfacing stuff, and then there's another chip called a GTRY52. If you Google GTRY52, nothing comes up except for a Chinese language Taiwanese review of a gaming keyboard that looks an awful lot like the KB65HE. So I've included that in the review, and yeah, it's the same board. It's the same PCB. Although Endgame have taken the case and while they use the same sort of design files, it's now billet aluminium instead of injection molded plastic. So it's a super hefty board and really pretty cool. And it's also not insanely expensive. Like it's 140 quid, so it's not exactly cheap. But for a billet aluminium 65%, proper fancy mechanical pre-lubed keyboard, that's not bad. I also have a Keychron, something. I can't open my emails, otherwise you'll get bombarded with sounds. But I have a Keychron board coming, hopefully next week. Find out. But so yeah, apparently it's keyboard o'clock for me. Anything from CES caught your eye? No. I haven't really been keeping up. I get the press releases for the stuff that's released. But yeah, I've not seen anything. I think that the problem that I have with stuff that's launched at CES is none of it is gonna be available for the next 6 months. And so I got pretty disconnected between like shows like that or Computex and the products themselves, because I can go, oh wow, that's a really cool thing, and then it won't be in anyone's hands until 6 months later. So yeah. But anyone else see anything fun? Simon says, I like the folding screen they had. I'm somewhat of an LED display fan. Love my 5x4 meter display to fold up. Was that the Samsung one? The like big TV thing that folds up. Folding phones or tablets or even laptops, I get, right? Like, I get the idea that we want to cram more screen real estate into something that's still something you can fit in your pocket, whatever. But like, why does my TV need to fold up? Like, why? Philips, I think, are making a door lock that works with the palm of your hand. I will not install a smart door lock unless it is completely not connected to the internet and is actually reasonably secure and not ostentatious and obvious. So yeah. Moving from X570 Gaming X to an Intel build, would an MSI Z790 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi be okay? I know 790 is a step up, and considering that also, but they're both basic, so stuck on it. So it depends what chip you're gonna use. Are you what CPU are you planning on using that with? Internal smart door lock, yes. External, no. Yeah, although I don't really have a use for an internal door lock. Like, meh. I suppose maybe in like an apartment complex, maybe, but yeah. I just wouldn't use a smart door lock. Yeah. kids to your office, maybe. Maybe, but then like I just might get an RFID chip implanted in my hand so I can open the dishwasher hands-free. What? Why does your dishwasher have an RFID tag reader, and why would that open the dishwasher? This is the thing, like, a couple of years ago, I bought a new dishwasher and a new washing machine, and I was somewhat tempted by the idea that I could buy the, like, because we were buying the Samsung washing machine, and so I was slightly tempted by the idea that I could buy the one that had Zigbee, basically, because I was planning on doing Home Assistant, and it'd be kind of cool to be able to, you know, monitor it or like remotely turn it on, whatever. But my friends and my wife had a very good suggestion, which is you have to be able to load the dishwasher washing machine anyway. Why does that need to connect to anything? You need to be there to open it and like put the stuff in. Why would I need it to connect, especially to the internet? One of the things that I've been seeing on Reddit is that LG has apparently been using their smart washing machines as content delivery networks. Like, it will upload a shit ton of data. HB has mentioned it too. Yeah, it was uploading like 3.7 gigabytes per day of data, or like 11 gig per week or something. Because it was basically acting as a CDN, like it was passing data on as basically a botnet. That's insane. Why does your washing machine need to be connected to the internet? Why? My friend's has a smart dishwasher. It texts him a photo of the dishes inside when it's finished. I'm like, can't you just open the door? Like, yeah, mine has a little, like, LED on it that when it's done, all the rest of the display turns off and that LED turns on. So you know that it's done. You have to be there to open it to take the dishes out. Like, until it's an entire enclosed system where I can just, like, leave the dish on the side and then it, you know, scurries it up, washes it, and then puts it back in the, you know, in the cupboard or whatever. I don't care. Am I odd for not wanting to give up my biometrics to 23 and whomever, my voice to Lady Tubes or anything? No, you're not. No, the idea that you give your literal biometric data, like your actual DNA, to a company that is specifically only there to generate data, like to then sell it on, no chance. Like, if there was an open source, you know, version where it's very clear, like, you get whatever report, but then the data is deleted, or at very least it's entirely anonymized such that there's no, you know, and then only ever given for medical research purposes, like, maybe it would be cool to have access to that data, that information, but am I going to give it to some, you know, country that company that is literally just going to sell my biometric data to advertisers? No worries, Jim. He also has one of them fridges with a screen that when you double tap it, it'll show you inside the fridge. And Chris has a great response. It has a door. The screen is on the door. Just open the door. Yeah. Our fridges have all glass doors, looks cool, not sure I really need that for home. Yeah, fair. Um, he won't tell me how much he pays. I'm sure it was too much. The cutlery chute into the dishwasher, time to get patenting. Well, that would be quite cool, actually. It's kind of annoying that you have to, like, you know, open the door and then, like, put it in the upside down, whatever, put it in the in an empty hole. Yeah. His argument is, but it tells me when my food is out of date, when to order, etc. Yeah, I'm still not sold. Okay, but like, you have a brain for that. Like, sure, that is a legitimately useful feature if it works. But yeah, isn't that called a weekly shop? Yeah, right. Um, we just don't buy stuff that we don't have a plan to use. Like, there are some stuff, you know, like milk, butter, cheese, whatever, that we'll just buy when we're out of, and we don't necessarily know that, like, right, we're gonna, you know, use this, whatever. But we wouldn't buy vegetables or meats or anything if we don't, like, we plan what dinner we're gonna have, you know, with that, and then we buy the things we need to do that. So yeah, we don't have basically anything other than occasionally fruit go off. But yeah. I wish I could get smaller pots of sour cream. I will not consume 230 grams of it in a week. Yeah, fair. um, I agree. That's too sensible. Yeah, it's not tech bro-y enough. Come on, we need to reinvent something in a really stupid and less worker protecty way. I just deal with leftovers. It won't, I assume. If the milk is going out of date, I chug it out of the bowl. Hey, if it gets used, it gets used. Gone off milk is just free cottage cheese. Oh. Oh, and with that sound word of wisdom, I think we will. I think we'll leave it there. Oh dear. Well, this was fun. I will. And on that bombshell. Yeah, I will. I'll catch you all next week for a stream. Obviously tomorrow for a video, Monday for a video, and yeah. Otherwise, have fun, stay safe, and yeah, see you next week.